So this is our video submission for our nomination for the PENNA, and this is the National Takeover Challenge, where it was a collaborative piece of work between Kettering General Hospital, Northampton General and Young Healthwatch Northamptonshire. My name is James Allen. I'm the Head of Patient Experience and Involvement at Kettering General Hospital.
And I'm Rachel Livesey, Head of Patient Experience and Engagement for Northampton General Hospital.
And I'm Esther Stimpson, Project Manager and Young Healthwatch Lead for Healthwatch Northamptonshire.
So just a quick run through of the day. I'm going to hand over to Esther to let her talk through who Young Healthwatch are, what they do and how things went.
So Young Healthwatch are a group of 11 to 24-year-olds who make sure that young people have a say in health and social care services in Northamptonshire. They feed into the Healthwatch Northamptonshire board, and it's about making sure that young people have an opportunity to volunteer in roles in local trusts and to be involved in healthcare and decisions that are made about healthcare involving young people. They make sure that they think of other young people and not just themselves, so young people that might be using health and social care services. And they report to commissioners and service providers locally and sometimes nationally as well.
And so the two acute hospitals that obviously myself and James are from, Kettering and Northampton, are both based in Northamptonshire and serve a population of around 700,000 patients within the community. And there is around 1,400 beds between the two sites. And they provide a multitude of specialist services.
So for Takeover Challenge, it took place on the 29th of November 2019. Like we mentioned, it involved Young Healthwatch and both acute hospitals to look at how we can involve and give young people a taster of a day in the life of working at the hospital. So working with Esther, we engaged with Young Healthwatch to look at actually what do the young people want from the day, what are their interests and what are their hobbies, how can we link in with that? And from there, Young Healthwatch helped us plan the days at the two different hospitals, and we held different events depending on what the agenda was and what it was the young people wanted. There was mixed things going on at both hospitals. We linked in with the young people to say, was there specific things that they wanted to test and try? So looking at the agenda, here at KGH, we started bright and early with a meeting with our chief exec because he's always keen to meet with the children and young people who are coming to site and see what their feedback is, especially with the ongoing work and the previous work that we've done with Young Healthwatch. We attended a trust board and shared a patient story, which was a patient story from a young person. And from there, we engaged with Young Healthwatch and looked at some of our feedback that had already taken place in terms of national surveys and how we collect it, what more we can do to improve how we collect feedback, and how we can actually share the lessons that we learn from that feedback and get it back to the young people in a way that's meaningful. After lunch, which was a food tasting session on one of our children and young people's wards, we came back and looked at what we do at the moment in terms of acting on feedback and how we can improve that further. And one of the specific things that Young Healthwatch wanted to do was visit our radiology department. There was a particular person who wanted to become a radiologist. So we took them to radiology. We did a bit of a quiz. They got to look at the equipment that we use and look at some of the x-rays. And there was talk through what certain things are, what they look out for, and how things develop from there. At the end of the day, we had a close and debrief. So if there was any questions anybody had, any concerns that Young Healthwatch wanted to raise and ask, then that gave them an opportunity to do so. So hand over to Rachel so she can talk through a brief overview of what happened on their day.
Yeah, thank you. So the day started at around 10 a.m. in the morning, and as James did as well, we had a meet and greet session where the children and young people, and Esther as well, who joined us for the day, got to meet the Director of Nursing within the Medical Director's Office. And that was obviously a nice introduction to the day and an opportunity for us to share what we were going to cover within that day. So our first stop was to the children's wards, where we met one of the children's matrons and some of the play specialists as well. And we also had the opportunity to meet the clinical director, which was fantastic. The play specialist took the young people through some of the support that they give to children and young people when they go into hospital, sort of a bit of an education session on the services that they provide. We then had an opportunity to talk about the ways in which we collect feedback and how we want to expand on that further. And we discussed the friends and family test, and actually we've done some work since then on ensuring that children and young people are involved in the creation of our cards. So that was a really important part of the day. So after that, it was all aboard the Volunteers Service Children's Train. And this was important for us as an organisation to show that we do listen to children and young people. And actually the Volunteers Train was created from feedback that we had received from children who found it really scary if they were going for an operation, if they were going from the ward to where they were going to be having their surgery. It was quite a scary journey. So we created the children's train as an opportunity to make the children feel more comfortable. So the children and young people and the volunteers got an opportunity to actually ride on the train, which was really exciting. I didn't get to ride on it and I feel like I missed out. After that, we had lunch, which was all about food tasting. So we put it out to our catering team and said, look, we've got some children and young people that would like to test the menu. And they were really excited about this because they're actually looking at changing the menu anyway. So they brought along with them the current menu, or as it was then, should I say, and then the menu that they were proposing. And I was concerned that there might not be enough food. There was definitely enough food. There were lots of very full bellies after, and actually it was really tasty. So one of the catering team, Dean, he did join us for that session, and they took all of that information on board, and actually that's now helped to shape the future menu for children. So the next thing that we did, which was probably one of the most exciting parts of the day, and again, it wasn't just about us kind of getting information from children and young people, it was about giving something back as well. So we took them to our simulation suite, which is very state of the art at the hospital. We're very proud of it. And we were able to simulate some activities and dress them up as doctors, and they got to do a multitude of different activities and tasks that involved the simulation equipment, the mannequins, so things like putting splints onto wrists, doing some kind of emergency drills. It was really exciting, and at the end they got to keep their scrubs as well, so I think that went down quite well. So as with James as well, we had a closing debrief, which was just an opportunity to kind of have a bit of a chat about how the day had gone, and I think there was a lot of very excited people, including myself. It was a really good day.
So leaning on from that, a short video to show you some of the things that we've done on the day across both hospitals, and really share the experience of both us as staff, because I think we thoroughly enjoyed ourselves, but also from the young people that joined us. So leading on, and Rachel's covered some of this already from there, there's other things that we want to involve Healthwatch and children and young people, the voice of children and young people in. One of them is looking at our feedback for Kettering General especially. There are elements where communication could be improved, and we have taken that opportunity and we're developing a training package with Young Healthwatch for them to deliver themselves to our staff about how to communicate with children and young people and how to get the best out of that communication. Both hospitals have worked with Young Healthwatch to develop their friends and family test. So looking at how the cards look, the design of them, but also the questions that we ask and how we ask them. So both hospitals have worked with Young Healthwatch to make sure that they were co-produced from scratch, and we've closed the loop on that one in terms of sharing back with Young Healthwatch the feedback that they gave us and the direction they gave us with that. And then, as Rachel has mentioned, the development of their menu has been a real key to some of the work that they've done based on Takeover challenge and the next steps with their menu. From there, there's a video to give feedback from Young Healthwatch that we'd also like to share with you before we take any questions.
I'd love to do a day like this again. The people that we were around were really nice, really helpful, and we learnt so much and did so many new things, and the whole day was just really engaging.
I'd love to come back to Northampton General Hospital again because there's a lot of stuff that we've learned about the hospital that we didn't know before, and there's lots of things that we could use to improve the hospital and we can get their feedback on it.
The environment is very friendly, all the staff are lovely, and they just make you feel really welcoming.
Thanks so much for taking the time to watch our short presentation and videos. We're gutted that we can't be in Birmingham with you to look at all of the work in your stalls and see what you've been up to. We've always found it so beneficial to be there on the day, but here we are in a virtual world. If you do have any questions about the day or what's happened since then, please feel free to get in touch with us via our Twitter handle, or I'm sure the guys at PENNA will be happy to share our email address with you. Thank you.